So how would
That
you,
is just all.
how would you look at this? I mean, the ruling party has said that by the 30th of September, the list of ministers would be made public. And the Senate is resuming today. Expectedly, there should be a submission or a letter from the president saying these are the list of ministers based on the promise made to Nigerians and indeed the international community. How do you think that the party would be shooting itself in the leg against the promise they've made to the whole world, that by the 30th this will be done, and then they'll be mobilizing to destabilize the same house that should be looking to approve the list of ministers?
Clearly, there's one thing Nigerians must pray God that we resolve immediately, and that is the fact that there is a thin line of difference between the party position and the positions taken in body law. The party positions, even in the procedures that led to the emergence of the Senate president, we were hearing that the party had made choices, but there was not any time those decisions were, even before the issue of zoning about where the Senate president will come from and all those areas, certain team gods will make statements and it will be assumed that or interpreted as the decision or the position of the party. So that is exactly what is still happening here. The president, if you ask me, does ordinarily say to Nigerians and the entire world that he would not be interested in determining who becomes the Senate president. So whoever emerges, he will work with the person. But one now wonders, 3 months after that election of Senate president, both of them have not met. So yes, communications can go to the Senate, it's writing, the letters will go. But the thing is that it is the fight of certain team gods who are in body law in Lagos that are affecting the fortunes of Nigeria in this new government. The issues are clear. The president will submit the letter for the ministerial list to the National Assembly. But it is either today or tomorrow.
You actually strongly believe that one individual or some people, some few individuals, can determine the direction that this country flows, and a certain group of people will be running a parallel government to that which has been elected by the Nigerian people. Is that what you're saying?
Clearly, that is what is playing out, and that is what Nigerians are expecting, that within the shortest possible time, the party...
I asked you if that is what you're saying. I didn't ask you if that's what Nigerians are expecting.
Yes. That's what's happening exactly. That's exactly what is happening. That's exactly what is happening. That certain persons sit in Lagos, take a decision, and they expect the entire country to follow their decisions and their whims and caprices. That is exactly what is playing out.
So if you're so certain that certain individuals are practically running a parallel government, how is it that you've not reported them to the authorities so that they can be arrested? Because
yes, they can sit there and... No, we know for a fact that the individuals that we are referring to are individuals that are known to the authorities. These are individuals that have access to the seat of power, even on your channels. We've seen them severally visiting.
So because they are known to the government, they can carry on treasonable felony and they will go scot-free.
Allow me come in here very quickly, Mr. Tochukwu, because we would want you to be very categorical in your comments and in your statement, and to speak if you have any facts on some of these issues, so that because some of these issues can be libelous, and you can be held responsible when you make some kind of libelous or you slander anyone on television. Good. Now that we know all of that, because we're trying to unravel some of the misgivings of your group, and that is how we started off this discussion. And a lot of Nigerians, because you're the public relations officer of Ohaneze Indigo Youth Movement, and you say, well, the trial of the Senate President at the CCT is also going to affect the cause of the Southeast. That is what was yet to establish. Tell us where your facts, lie in this.
Okay.
Because we know that the Senate President is not from the Southeast.
Clearly, he is not. Now, before the emergence of the Senate President and the Deputy Senate President, facts were that there was this announcement everywhere, even on your studio, that Senator Ahmed Lawan had been penciled down by the party to emerge as the Senate President, and Senator George Akume as the Deputy Senate President. That was the line that was drawn. And then Senator Bukola Saraki emerged with Senator Ike Ekweremadu. In the days following that their emergence on June 9, it was clear, everybody knew that there was this hysteria that, oh, somebody that wasn't supposed to be. They are still looking at it mainly as somebody from a different party, emerging as the Deputy Senate President. But if you look at it clearly and see that having shared all the positions, and you did not include a Southeasterner in any of the positions, the President, the Vice President, Senate President, Speaker, Deputy Senate President, Deputy Speaker, and somehow by stroke of luck or providence, an Igbo man emerged. Ordinarily, you should have let it off. But someone will say, oh, but the Igbos did not give any seat to APC in the Senate. But one will also admit that the Igbos gave APC House of Reps members seats. So if you knew that, oh, there was a need to carry along the Southeast, why did you not give them a seat in the House of Reps? So there was a decision by the Tin Gods I still refer to in Bodilon that no Igbo man will be part of the government. And now it has come against their plans. And that is why the Senate President must pay for the sins he has committed for his emergence to allow an Igbo man to come in. It's a fact. You can trace it. It's chronological. You can trace it.
Mr. Tochukwu, let me come in here at this point, because your line of argument is extremely worrying. You've talked about how, you say it's unfortunate that we're analyzing things along tribal lines. You're making very strong allegations here, and these statements you're making does have the capacity to cause divisions if you know what it is that you're doing. How can you say categorically, because you've already said here that the Deputy Senate President is not a member of the All Progressives Congress. You know that usually when leadership is being, considerations are being given, usually it will be the party members themselves who will form leadership positions. And you rightly said that it was a stroke of providence, you call it, that other members of the Senate were not there on that day. Do you think that if they were there, he would have emerged Deputy Senate President?
There are 49 members of the People's Democratic Party in the Senate. The Deputy Senate President, if you check the record, scored more than 49 votes to emerge as the Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic. It means some people from the All Progressive Congress voted for him. It's a fact.
That's not how I quite remember it. I do not have the figures here. Just a moment, please. That's not how, because I also remember that Dino Melaye, in his defense for what transpired on the floor of the Senate, he said that they did try to stop it, and that if they looked at it, there were members of the PDP there, and there were also members of the APC there, even though not all their members were present. And they can see that the Senate President, though was unanimously voted for by all that were present in the Senate that day, not all members voted for the Deputy Senate President. I recall that was what he said in his defense. So for you to now say that 49 members of the PDP were there, how many members of the APC were there? That's the question.
No, I am only trying to establish something, Malkwe. What I'm trying to establish is that members of APC voted for the Deputy Senate President. So it wasn't like PDP
So only why would you look at it then from members of the APC did? How many members of the APC did? That's the question.
No, I only established the fact that it wasn't only PDP that made him the Deputy Senate President. Members of APC also voted for him to emerge the Deputy Senate President.
How many members of the APC? In total, how many votes did he get?
More than 49, which is the total number of the PDP members.
I want precise figures in terms of how many members were present on that day, because we all know that the members were less than 60.
Was elected, they had 72.
Just a moment. We do know that we have 109 members and less than 60 members were present in the Senate on that day. True or false?
No, please. At the election of the Senate President, they were less than the number you just said. But for the election of the Deputy Senate President, even you check your records, you see that there were about 72 of them.